Iran's Supreme Leader Mojtaba Khamenei has issued another sharp warning to the United States as tensions remain high despite ongoing diplomatic efforts and reports of possible negotiations. His remarks came shortly after Donald Trump expressed optimism about a potential understanding with Iran, highlighting the stark contrast between diplomatic signals and the rhetoric emerging from Tehran. Khamenei also renewed his criticism of both the United States and Israel, accusing them of attempting to weaken Iran from within and describing their efforts as a source of humiliation and failure for their adversaries. Iran marked the anniversary of the death of Islamic Republic founder Ruhollah Khomeini with ceremonies that also served as a platform for the country's leadership to deliver political and ideological messages. During his remarks, Supreme Leader Mojtaba Khamenei warned against public frustration and internal divisions, urging Iranians to remain united in what he described as a struggle against imperialism. Khamenei argued that tensions between Tehran and Washington go far beyond military confrontations or diplomatic disagreements and are rooted in deeper ideological differences. According to the Iranian leader, the United States opposes what he called Iran's distinct and unyielding identity, rather than merely objecting to specific policies pursued by the Islamic Republic. He ultimately framed the dispute between Iran and the United States as a broader struggle over the character, independence, and national identity of the Iranian nation itself. Iran's Supreme Leader, Mojtaba Khamenei, said, and I quote, "The system of domination, led by America, has a problem with this nation and its distinct and unyielding identity. The United States and Israel can't accept the existence of a strong and independent Iran near the false geography of Greater Israel. The enemy has suffered defeat against Iran's armed forces and a meaningful and deep humiliation in the streets. The enemy is now focusing its hybrid war on two goals: undermining public belief and creating miscalculation among officials." Supreme Leader Mojtaba Khamenei said the current period presents a new opportunity to revive and promote the revolutionary ideas that have shaped the Islamic Republic since its founding. He also described the present situation as a chance to further advance the legacy of Ruhollah Khomeini, portraying the founder of the Islamic Republic as a continuing source of guidance for Iran's political and ideological direction. Ruhollah Khomeini emerged as the central figure of Iran's 1979 revolution, leading the movement that overthrew Shah Mohammad Reza Pahlavi and brought an end to the country's monarchy after decades of royal rule. Following the revolution, Khomeini founded the Islamic Republic of Iran and became the country's first supreme leader, establishing a new political system that combined religious authority with state power. Under Khomeini's leadership, Iran was transformed into an Islamic theocracy, with clerical institutions assuming a central role in governance, law, and national decision-making. After spending years in exile opposing the Shah, Khomeini returned to Iran in February 1979 and quickly emerged as the undisputed leader of the revolutionary movement following the collapse of the monarchy. Khomeini's death in 1989 triggered a historic leadership transition, with Iran's Assembly of Experts selecting Ali Khamenei to succeed him as supreme leader and carry forward the Islamic Republic's revolutionary system. The Iranian Navy says that on June 3 it targeted the command and control systems aboard a US destroyer, striking at what it describes as the ship's brain in Gulf waters. Tehran insists the strike was a direct response to what it calls aggressive US measures against Iranian commercial shipping, accusing Washington of harassment at sea. This development was announced in an official statement issued by Iran's Army Public Relations Office, giving the claim the stamp of formal military approval. According to that statement, the US destroyer was attempting to enter Iranian waters, a move Tehran frames as a clear violation of its sovereignty and red lines. However, US Central Command has flatly denied Iran's account, rejecting the claim that any US Navy destroyer was hit or successfully targeted. CENTCOM went so far as to say Iran is lying, insisting that American assets at sea are operating freely and without damage despite Tehran's statements. Iran's statement said, and I quote, "A few hours ago, following aggressive actions, violations of the regulations governing the Strait of Hormuz, and hostile acts against Iranian commercial vessels in the Sea of Oman, by the terrorist and aggressive US military, the Navy, immediately upon detecting and identifying the source of those actions, targeted the command and control center responsible for them." End quote. Meanwhile, eyewitnesses inside Iran reported hearing the sounds of explosions and active air defenses, according to Iran International, suggesting something significant was unfolding in the skies. Residents in eastern Tehran described the distinct thud of air defense fire and then a single, loud explosion around 8:45 p.m., sending people rushing to their windows and balconies. Similar air defense sounds were reported from Karaj and Urmia, while blasts were heard near Bojnord airport, pointing to a wider pattern of aerial activity across multiple Iranian cities. Iran stressed that its navy is closely monitoring what it calls a criminal and aggressive enemy presence, keeping constant watch on U.S. movements in the region. The statement warns that the Navy will respond to any hostile act in the shortest possible time, signaling readiness for rapid retaliation if it feels provoked. Tehran further vowed that its forces will exact revenge in the harshest manner for the blood of the sailors of the destroyer Dina, framing its actions as avenging fallen martyrs. This latest claimed attack comes after both Tehran and Washington exchanged fire under the shadow of a fragile ceasefire, raising fears that the truce is rapidly unraveling in the Gulf. At least one person has been killed in the devastating aftermath of Iran's deadly strikes on Kuwait. Kuwaiti authorities also alleged that multiple people sustained injuries following Iran's drone attacks. With the international airport suffering significant damage, Kuwait has suspended all commercial flight operations. Airport operations in Kuwait are reportedly expected to remain halted until further notice from authorities. The airport had only reopened for normal operations on June 1st before the strikes took place. Kuwait's Ministry of Defense confirmed that Iran launched multiple hostile drones during its June 3rd attack. According to Kuwait's Ministry of Defense, Iran fired 13 ballistic missiles and 17 drones during the assault. Gulf allies have now come out strongly against Iran following attacks on Bahrain and Kuwait. The Gulf Cooperation Council released a statement on June 3 condemning what it called ongoing aggression. The GCC reportedly accused Iran of carrying out cowardly attacks against civilians in Bahrain and Kuwait. GCC Secretary-General Jassim Mohammed al-Budaiwi also accused Iran of hostile actions against Gulf nations. The statement further alleged that Iran's attacks amounted to violations of international law and accepted norms. Al-Budaiwi also urged the international community to take a firm stand and end Iran's aggression. The Gulf Council Secretary-General said, and I quote, "The attacks reflect the Iranian regime's insistence on pursuing rejected hostile policies targeting the security, stability, and sovereignty of the member states. Iran is in violation of international law, the United Nations Charter and all international norms, stressing that this requires a firm international stance to put an end to these dangerous Iranian aggressive practices. We underscored that the security of the Kingdom of Bahrain and the State of Kuwait is an integral part of the security of the GCC states, and that the Cooperation Council states stand united in confronting these attacks and fully support all measures and procedures taken by the two countries to defend their security, sovereignty, and territorial integrity." End quote.